Welcome to ZANE Radio, video and audio updates from ZANE's friends and partners on the ground in Zimbabwe. My name is John Haynes. In this episode, Samantha tells us about 77-year-old Jane and the difference that ZANE supporters are making to her life. I started by asking, what are the biggest challenges facing ZANE's beneficiaries today?
Shortage of money to sustain their lives, particularly those in private homes. Even though they receive a small amount of US dollars from us, this is becoming increasingly insufficient to buy the necessary goods. Prices of everything here continue to increase dramatically, matching the terrifying movement of the black market rate, with shops increasing prices of local goods, not just imported. People's lives are desperate through absolutely no fault of their own. The crippling effects of the COVID pandemic, from early 2020 to today, have made our beneficiaries' lives that much harder. So whatever hardships they were having before have more than quadrupled now.
Thank you for that useful overview. Please could you give a specific example of someone ZANE is helping at the moment?
We did a home visit assessment on Jane, 77 years old, on March 4, 2021. She was referred by someone linked to ZANE who said she was totally bedridden, immobile, and in trouble. She and her husband Keith, 84 years old, have worked very hard all their lives in mostly low-income jobs and have not been able to save much. Any savings they had have been lost and absorbed by exploitative bank practices here and the dismal economy. However, they did think they'd made moderate provision for their old age until they were viciously robbed and beaten by armed thieves, after which they managed to sell their house and with the proceeds bought the small flat they live in now. They have just managed to keep going with a few tiny local pensions and charities, plus working at part-time low-key jobs until 2015. Nevertheless, they always struggle to make ends meet till the end of every month. About 8 weeks ago, Jane started having acute back pain. After several doctor visits and a visit to the trauma centre, she borrowed money from friends for this. She was diagnosed with severe osteoporosis. At our visit, Jane was totally bedridden, relying on a maid 2 mornings a week and frail Keith for her every need. We could see she was suffering from something more debilitating than osteoporosis and arranged and paid for a nurse aide to help her daily. We also arranged for a doctor's home visit who agreed she urgently needs an MRI scan to make a thorough diagnosis and plan what intervention she needs now. She already has bed sores, which if not treated urgently, will hugely compound her health problems. Keith is slipping into dementia and cannot cope with the severity of all this. So we're at this stage now, awaiting the MRI results.
Thank you. What would happen to people like Jane without ZANE's help?
Many people would not be able to cope at all. Jane, for example, would not be able to afford medical intervention. She would try very hard to find a solution to her problem, but with her limited financial resources, the unaffordable medical costs, and the many limitations and difficulties caused by COVID, she has to have COVID tests every time she needs an x-ray, etc. She would probably remain bedridden and immobile and possibly die from related conditions and complications. There is no functioning government welfare system here, and any pensions are abysmally small. Many people are desperate, and we receive requests for food, rentals, water, fuel, etc., but increasingly desperate pleas for huge medical costs, doctors, medications, surgical and other procedures.
Thank you, Samantha. And finally, what is your message to ZANE's loyal supporters?
Without your continued support and generosity, we would not be able to help needy, desperate people like Jane. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to ZANE Radio. Please donate to ZANE at www.zane.uk.com. Music was by Kevin MacLeod at www.incompetech.filmmusic.io.